see it coming at you. Yeah. You
What's
guys,
that guy?
pardon?
What's that guy doing?
Him?
Yeah.
He's bending the track. As we lay the track, if it has to have a bend in it or something, we have to put it in as we go. And that's all that thing does. You can straighten the track out or you can put a bend in it. All right, we got tons to see. Did you guys feel the draft coming down through? As we're coming down through the shaft, you can feel it moving down through here pretty good too. That's all natural. There is no fans running. Unlike it was in the very first beginning, the district's about a 6-mile radius. Within that, 500 shafts are sank. Underground, there's somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 miles of interconnecting tunnel. Every mine connected. Did that so they could bring the water off the side of the mountain. Just keep passing it to the neighbor. Today, our benefit is that airflow. Area's on the same level. The air is not moving, and it's about 100 degrees. It's got that temperature in half for us. Did you bring your hard toe shoes?
No, we forgot him.
Oh, too bad. We like young men to go to work for us. We like to sit back in the lawn chair and drink beer and watch you guys work. No?
How would we do that?
I've got a question.
Yeah.
Helmet in there, is that a carbide helmet?
That's a carbide lamp. Yep.
That's what my grandfather had. He was a coal miner.
Yep. Neat little lamps. They actually dual function up here. They actually use them to monitor for the gas too.
Oh.
You know, coal mining, boy, that methane is running, you wouldn't want to go in with that carbide. But yeah, it could just go out up here. We just got carbon dioxide we gotta worry about. Hey, follow me on down this way. We've got tons to see, so we can move.
That's Denver tax.
Mira, mira cómo empujan ese fierro.
I didn't get a chance to file my last round and didn't grab my deck. That's all right. Jack Daniel's surgery's coming up pretty soon. Good, keep on coming down where you guys can kind of see what's happening back over here. That mud pile back there, that's what you get if you drill your blast holes to 6 foot and shot your round. Bring you about 12 to 14 tons. Right there, that was your entry level. That's where they put the new guys. New guys in a mine were called tenderfoots, just like on a ship, you're a greenhorn. And they had to earn their way up through the ranks. Any dirty job them old timers could find for you, they gave you. They would consider that, whoa, good working conditions. Those men would be expected to load 2 if not 3 one-ton ore cars every hour. If they couldn't keep up, they were sent down the road. That production had to continue. It helped them out a little bit though before they shot around. Those metal plates are leaning right there against the rib. It's called the muck plate. They put them down on the ground in front of where they're shooting that rock would actually come on top of that metal. It's just so much easier sliding that shovel. Jack Dempsey here graduated high school over in Victor, where he went on to be the heavyweight champ that he was. He tried to be a miner. Couldn't cut the mustard. He wasn't keeping up. They let him go from every job he had. I just think he didn't want to do it. They didn't have the guts to tell him to get busy, I'm sure. About 1915, they had equipment start coming along, but nothing worked like Iron Coast 12B, that little rocker shovel over there. That thing will load a 1-ton ore car like this one in under a minute. Runs off compressed air, guys, so while it's in motion, it's going to be noisy. I'll give you a heads up. Make sure you protect your ears a little bit, okay?
Why is this water falling from the ceiling?
We keep trying to find the leak in the outhouse, and we ain't found it yet.
Oh no!
You guys had a fight?
It's just rainwater, snow melt. That's the water table coming down through. That crack right there is actually a vein. And it's cracked all the way up to the surface. So that water's going to find the path of least resistance. That's why it's dripping here and not in other places. That make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Santa Claus better bring me a new knee. Are you ready? Here we go. You also get a shower when you turn the damn thing on. The water's been dripping on it, on them controls, and the minute that air hits, it's got that little stem that comes up that lets it swivel. It leaks air through there, when it blows it right up on you. Okay, you ready to see some more?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Come on down this way. You can get up here today.
Mira. Es que estamos en la profundidad.
That very same pattern is used today as they did back when they were shooting black powder and hand drilling. Very same pattern right here. The only difference is hand drilling, they'd only drill it to about 3 foot and go ahead and shoot the round. Drilling every hole 3 foot deep took them over 24 hours to do. The collar drill came along at the turn of the century, and they could now drill every hole 6 foot deep in about 6 hours. But most of their time was having to tear the thing down and set it up. It wasn't the drill time. It takes 2 or 3 people. This thing's heavy. Just one piece right here, about 200 pounds. The jack tanks here, they're very important. And not the drill that caused it, but there's a drill that didn't use water. They found out what silica was. Breathing in that dust. We got to keep it down. You just fill the jack tank with water and put compressed air to it. It pushes that water through the drill clear down to the end of the bit. Now, I don't run this thing for very long at all, guys, because it will break itself apart. It likes to hammer, and we're not drilling. Especially being connected to this column like it is. Not much to really drain out the pressures and stuff. So, make sure you watch those ears. Just gonna give it a quick bump. Ready? Here we go. If you had a hangover, you're cussing at your mother. Now the dynamite, they used that for many, many years. And it got the job done. The biggest hassle they had with the dynamite was after the rounds would go off, the nitroglycerin fumes. They'd linger, and boy, you breathe them in, you got what they call the powder headache. And it's worse than a migraine ever thought of being. And basically, they had powder headaches from the time they got underground till they went home. 500 mines working, you feel where that air is moving down here. It was constantly in the air. After that's all drilled, that's tied in and loaded where it doesn't get shot all at once. That's why they call that a round. If you detonate all your charges at once, you're going to break some granite because you're not going to have a muck pile to work with. We're shooting today with a series of 5 shots milliseconds in between each one. It's all predetermined for us. Basically, is what happens here. Today, the shots are decided in the back of the hole. Up until then, all your timing was up here in the front. That spinner cord would be looped through all them little loops. Every time we come to a fuse, they put a cut in, like it is there, and they blow out a big flame lighting those other fuses. The rounds will always start right here in the center. It's called the burn. That center hole right there, if you don't drill that one, you're not going anywhere. You have to give it room to break. And it just follows suit from there on. It's just going to break to the easy part. After the burn, the round works outward. Last to go right there, they're called lifters. About a 30-degree angle is what you drill them at. When they ignite, the bedrock's underneath them, so all that force goes right up through the broken rock. And he takes it right along with it and he'll pile it up right out here for you. He bounces it right off the face and off the back. You know, they used to use kids your age and younger. Those dynamite sticks. Before they started the mine gel too, that's got ethyl glycol in it. They can pack it in the holes at this temperature. Before ethyl glycol was added to it, they couldn't. The hard as a rock. So they keep the dynamite sticks warm. And then when they're ready to start loading, they just hand the stick to the kid and tell him to take off running down where the miners were loading it. That way it would stay warm. That's about the only child labor we got out of it. But that, they would use the kids to run those dynamite sticks.
So was the gold all dispersed within the granite? So there's no
Within,
real
within
vein?
certain veins, yeah. Yeah, and the gold will be throughout the whole vein.
Right.
It won't be just in a streak of solid gold. You know, it's just, yeah, things kind of, when I explain what happens, hopefully it'll kind of tie everything in together. Well, come on over here. You guys know what AMFO is?
César, eso es
Ammonium
salitre.
nitrate fuel oil. That's what AMFO is. This stuff has more kick than dynamite, but it's a lot more stable and easier for us to use. Instead of packing those sticks, all we gotta do is pump it in the hole using that gun. It's a lot more stable. It won't detonate with just a cap. We still have to use a 1/3 to 1/2 stick of dynamite in every hole. Now the detonators we use, that determines our timing, and they're so cool. You know, they used to have to worry about a fuse burning in the hole, smoldering, misfires. They're pressure sensitive. They don't take any type of spark at all. The tube on it's hollow called a shock tube, and that tag will tell you what your delay is. After everything's loaded, you tie all your tubes in with that yellow and black cord. It's called deck cord. You set that stuff wrapped around a tree and it'll cut it right in half. Sends a good pop down through every one of those tubes. You gotta load it up right, you're gonna hear a loud crack from the deck cord, 4 bangs, and a thud, all within 1 second. You wanna hear what it sounds like? Pretty cool. Ready to run? Better go. Now, you guys know I'm teasing. Now, if you see me take off running, you just keep up. 1940, Gardner Denver came out with the 83 jackleg. They cut 4 more hours off the drill time. The jackleg's easy to see. Right here.
Oh,
83 parts, the drill's about 83 pounds. One miner operates it, you can do that whole pattern in under 2 hours. That's where you save your time. Uses a 6-foot drill steel, and I'll tell you, that's a booger getting that thing started. It's a hammer. You're out here balancing anyway, and it's just bouncing off that face with you. Once you do get that bit digging in, you just open up the drill and you use that leg for pressure. But you gotta counteract that angle, or you're gonna put a nice little bend in your drill steel. That carry handle now becomes, that's your foot handle. Watch the center of that hole, as that drill is pushing, you lean on the top of that drill, putting all that force down to the end of the bit. By doing that, you can drill a 6-foot hole in the world's hardest granite in about 2 minutes. You just sit there and watch that drill chew in. Gotta be careful, if you put too much pressure on it, that drill still hangs, you better shut her up right away. If that drill still snaps, you're in trouble. Especially if you're out here not as close as it is there. That drill is gonna come underneath that drill steel, and it's gonna shoot you like a catapult right up towards that piece of steel sticking out of that wall. You know what that is?
tiembla, temblor
Right
ahí
here.
como una-
No.
You ever heard of a stalactite?
Yeah.
That's a stalactite, it's with Epsom salt, so it's not with the calcium like it is Carlsbad Caverns and elsewhere. That's what all that white stuff is. Magnesium sulfate. Just comes through the rock with the moisture. That whole cycle today can be done within 6 hours, from beginning to end. We just lit a fuse, we better go. I know. That's the Epsom salt. It's magnesium, it's not a salt, folks. You really know if it takes out a rough beginning.
Oh, sorry.
They say it's been extinct 35 million years.
Oh,
It was not that initial event that brought the minerals and metals to us. It happened after that main
¿qué es eso?
eruption. Basically, the
Pregúntale.
freak in nature
¿Qué es
didn't
esa
happen at
cosa
all.
blanca?
Magnesio.
Basically what happened, Mother Nature had a little bit of a tummy ache. And then she let go with a big wet fart. Above the magma, big pocket of superheated water, building pressures beyond belief. Yellowstone has geysers. That's keeping the pressure underground in check. Nothing was relieving the pressure up here, and they say Pikes Peak's twin was above us. The mountain couldn't hold it, and it blew. Cracked the granite, cleared down the molten lava. That was then pushed back up through the cracks, depositing the minerals and metals, creating the veins. That's what we're chasing. Right here's a prime example. That slab right there was existing. You see after she blew and the way that lava came back up and through. And that's how we got the gold and silver and everything else up here. If it wouldn't have been for that one little thing not relieving the pressure, we wouldn't be. We would not be. Come on down here. Cripple Creek Fork, every role in the textbook as far as how
Yo
to
pensé
find
que era
gold.
se estaba.
Yeah.
Now, I gotta disappoint you, buddy. If you came in thinking you're gonna see big gold nuggets on a wall, it ain't gonna happen. Only 1% of the gold here in the district is free gold, the natural yellow color. You can find that on the surface, tiny wires or flakes. There are no nuggets. The gold that is here comes in a crystal form, called the telluride. The main telluride is called calaverite that we have here, the majority, and it's only about 60% gold. 40% is silver and tellurium, and it's got the exact same color as iron pyrite. And it fooled the experts for many years. Named the world's greatest gold camp, during the gold rush, this area put out more gold than Alaska and California both put together. The majority of that gold is still here. Even what they're doing behind us. We can go a lot deeper than what we are. The deepest mine in the district is only 3,350 foot. South Africa last year, they were approaching 18,500. Because what happened here in the district, up to 1960, gold stayed a standard right around $20 an ounce. There was only one mill that was processing all the mine's ores. They just train come around, take it by rail, pick up everybody's ore and take it to the mine, or to the mill. Gold hit under 20, they couldn't afford to pay their power bill and shut them down. But the main reason why one mill was there was the tellurides. It's a chemical process. Everybody just couldn't afford to have their own setup because it's very expensive and it's hard to do. It takes a while to get everything set to where it's running right. You put a lot of gold out the tail end of that thing until it is. It's just that they couldn't afford to run it, shut them down. They couldn't pay the power bill. Even today, $2,000 an ounce, we can't make money. Not here. They can up there because they're moving materials 600 or 300 tons at a time. We can only move it one. A lot of gold and a lot of vein, but not enough gold in one vein and 1 ton to pay everybody back. You got an overhead about 50, 60 million in just reclamation bonds before you even get a permit. That's where you even start. As miners were coming down through the crosscut, you see a vein they stumbled on. That's a gold vein. Up on the surface, the top of a vein is called an outcropping. When they found a good one, they sank the shaft next to it, come underneath the vein, and then underhanded it. This is called a stope. Let gravity bring the rock down. This is just a small one. Any larger, half this opening would be all closed up and a chute coming down where the rail is. So all you had to do is shoot off their charges and then lift a board on the end of that chute and the rock would fall in the oil column. The amount of gold that rock would have to have in it for them to make money was 1/4 of an ounce of gold per ton or better. To process a whole ore car at 1/4 ounce, you get a dime-sized piece of gold. Most of it's microscopic. We don't even see it. But when we see that purple fluorite in the vein, that's just as good as gold. The rock here came right off the vein right up there. 95% of the time, if that purple fluorite's in the vein, there's going to be gold anywhere from here to there.
Wow.
Coincidental showed up like that. No real explanation why. Doesn't have to be there, and it doesn't change any amounts. But when it is, The timbers up there, that's not structural support, that's minor support. That's what they're working off of up there. They made $1 more a day. You wanna make $20?
I don't know.
This, the
Wow.
timbers up there, that's not structural support, that's minor support. What they're working off of. Now here, the slusher is actually used one step above us. We're at the bottom of the ore chute. When you get above your ore chute, that's when you spread it out across your vein. Not all the material will fall into a chute. Once in a while, someone's got to go clear them off. That's all that slusher does. I'll go ahead and trade spots here with you. That thing's got a terrible air blast that come this way and you won't be able to see much. There we go. Come on up here, buddy. You see that bucket? I'm gonna have you stand over there a little bit. Be a little loud once you see it right here. Cover your ear. Other ear. Look that way. Here we go. Doesn't take very long at all to clear off the vein. You want to wear a GoPro? We'll sit you right on top of that bucket. I don't know if you guys have noticed, we've been walking uphill. Every tunnel was put 1% grade downhill to the shaft. At least 1%. That's how they got the water out of the mine. Also, the benefit for the ore cars, the donkeys, they could take more than one ore car downhill. As we're on the flat, they could take maybe one. Never used here underground until it was found to be inhumane by Teddy Roosevelt.
Te vas a raspar.
Right here, the first thing they used to replace it. When you check there, that tank, there was steam in it, had a little standing
Te vas a torcer los pies.
When that steam fluid is turned on,
Ahorita te vas a torcer los pies.
it's actually through there. You need for a tunnel, 5 cents a drip. 5 cents a drip, that's when it become in the vein. When we get up here at the end of the line, that's what we'll be at in this year. So you can check that in, see it every day.
Toques.
Same kind of stuff happened on Dad's too. Especially if you're in a humid area. Right here we're standing in what they call a drift. We just walked underneath the county road outside the parking lot at the gate. We're on the other side of the county road right now.
Okay.
That right there is a chute where they were stoping up above us. So the crosscut would come, they found the vein, they would tunnel the vein, figure out, if it's worth going after or not. That's when they decided to start with their raises. We got one quick stop to make, but when we get to the other side, we'll be able to look up in there. It's pretty cool. Actually, we could have got off at 200, climbed down the ladder and been right here. Coming down through the slope right here.
Logramos tomar
I've done it
foto.
from 7, I ain't brave enough to come down from 2. That ladder's been sitting up there for a long time and nobody worked on it, maintenance it. But up to 700 it's been, so.
Okay.
This here was the first stoper drill used, the old timers called it the wiggle tail. That stinger there held it in the board, it had a leg to push the drill up, but the steel on it doesn't turn, only hammer. So miners would constantly keep wiggling. It also killed a bunch of them off because of silicosis. They didn't know about silica back then, the effects it had on their lungs. With it being dry, they breathed a lot of dust. I'm sure the hand drills, they were breathing some dust, but not near what this was giving them. Longest life expectancy given to any miner was 8 to 10 years. Most of them got 4 to 6. Right here, 53 came along same time as that jackleg did. Now that thing is a drill. It's twice the power and it's twice as heavy. But I'll tell you, it's a dream to run. That jackleg will just beat you to death by the time you're done with it. You're wrestling with it. This one here, I don't have to wrestle. I just balance it, then once you start drilling, I can basically pretty much walk away from it, and it'll still drill. When I first put the air to it, it only comes down here to the leg. When I get that bit solid up against the back, I just turn it on. It still start drilling. No collar into it whatsoever. Watch your ears, okay? Ready? That thing would even make your inner jingle a little bit. Right here, that's your best friend, your panic button. That drill bit hangs up, you better shut her down, I mean right now. This drill is not gonna quit turning. I don't care how strong you are, you're not gonna stop it. The only way you're gonna stop it is by turning the air off. Wow. Come on down here.
César, mira, el agua que está cayendo está formando la roca, allá como allá.
Everybody can come past this photograph right here.
Puede resbalar esto por el carril. Mira, mira, mira cómo se forma.
That rock will come down through here and it's going that line. If everybody can kind of come past that, I'm just gonna start this thing here and I'll be right back.
Wow.
Right here, that's what they're chasing, that's what you're doing.
Wow, mira,
Everything after
Javi.
that timber is all local. Right here, just getting the manway, that mill up there ain't going up the ladder. It's 150 pounds. Let the tugger do it. If you get the belt, if they're out of sight, I can get over there the shaft. If they let this little cutter right do that way. The shifts up there working a little bit, that's the Boston bread and butter. If it's not working, do small bro. Shift changes what happened up there, the miners will have to break, that's not the one. The one long time.
Eso es increíble.
And better careful, though, you wanna go get in the break. Be an extra $20, you better start mining, man. We'll come get you next week. You only gotta work maybe 1 minute out of every hour. You show people you're up there drilling. Come on, what do you say?
I'll do
Yeah, I do it. Just don't say, here, hold my beer first, right? No. That's light tight right there, that thing's only about 10 years old. These here, we'll have to break them off when we come back in April, after we shut down for the season. They'll come down that part, just the skinny part on these, that's been since May. They're just all the entrance cells and stuff, they grow quick.
Eso puede caer.
The tram right there, that was the last one built in Cripple Creek in 1945, and it's also the largest one. That thing right there will move 3 tons of ore a half a mile on just one charge of air. We take a short ride, so go ahead and head on up and get you a seat there, and we'll go for a ride. Pardon? Oxidized copper. When copper oxidizes, it turns green. That's how they get fireworks to turn green.
And the yellow sulfur?
Yeah. Right here. We'll be cruising when we hit this corner down here, guys, so we gotta make sure, no. We won't be going very fast at all. These are just a reminder, we're gonna get close to the ribs here in a couple spots. You don't wanna argue with that granite, cause it will win every time. Also, don't
Yo tengo frío,
not a
mira.
good area.
Hani, dale, Hani, dale. A él dile. Please, one picture. Please. Thank you so much.
Ah, a nice heated padded seat here. We ready up front? Yep. Hang on, we'll take off like a turd of hurdles here.
Sorry.
That's the most important office in any workplace, guys. You know that, right?
Restroom, yes.
That's where I create all my important paperwork.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, Nelly. Oh, my goodness. I don't think I heard any groups come up behind it, but I'm gonna be honored to whoever's here next or has the first tour in the morning. If they are gonna have to. They want these down before they can go.
Quita más.
Every working level in your mind always had somewhere for your mechanics. It was just common sense. You want them down here working. Now, the advantages of this has to do with the dog. One, you don't have to feed it, smell it, clean up after it. We can trust it to go back all by itself. Don't worry about it wandering off getting lost. So if we're ready, so I don't run over anybody, I'm gonna have you guys head up to our next display right there. That door will push into the display on the right-hand side and I'll be up right behind you.